Hello everybody, how are you guys? This one's going to be a little different because we're going to talk about some local petting zoos. And this is another video in our series on the worst businesses in Louisville. And the reason for the series is to help consumers like you avoid the bad places and go to the good places, get the good services. So when you got the kids, predominantly kids, maybe you're just going out by yourself, whatever you want to do, when you go to the local petting zoo, you don't want to go to a bad one, guys. It's depressing and you'll go home crying. So here are the 5 worst. Let's avoid these. And if you know any bad ones yourself, leave a comment so that we can avoid that one. And also, if you know a good one, tell us the same information. The first one on our list is Paramedic Petting Zoo. Now, Paramedic Petting Zoo was originally started by a paramedic, and hence the name. And this was a good thing because they were an animal lover. They grew up on a farm, and they knew how to treat animals. Unfortunately, it was sold, and the new owner was a graduate of the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus Clown School, and they subsequently then dressed up each of the animals in the petting zoo in clown outfits, including red noses. Well, this didn't go over so well, especially in the reindeer area. All right. If you want to get into some trouble with locals, you put a red nose on a reindeer and it doesn't fly, guys, things are going to go bad and get bad quick. So people don't like that. They have an image of their mind of a reindeer with a red nose flying through the air, and if it doesn't happen, well, guys, let's just say let's avoid that particular petting zoo right here in Louisville. Now, the next one is Geese Petting Zoo. Geese Petting Zoo decided that their target market liked to pet geese. Now, I don't know if you've ever been up close and personal with geese, but geese do not like to be petted. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the worst choices for an exclusive animal to feature at your petting zoo. Geese can get really, really mean. And what do they do if you get too close? A lot of times they'll come at you, bro. All right? You'll be backing up quick. So, especially with the kids, maybe it would go fine, but too much risk. I'm going to say no to the Geese Petting Zoo. Now, the next one on our list is Wristwatch Petting Zoo. Wristwatch Petting Zoo. It's going to be about 5 miles outside of town on the far west side. Take the kids, but I've tried it. I've had kids with me. We took our church group out there, guys, and it didn't go well because here's the reason. All of these animals were wearing wristwatches. Now, I find that's interesting. Okay, I can go with you on that. They're making some kind of statement. But that wasn't it. They weren't making a statement about the environment, about climate change, how it affects animals. No. They were just making sure the animals got out of the barns in the morning on time so that the general public could enjoy the animals right at opening time. No sleeping in. And I don't know. If I had a sheep in there and he wants to take an extra 20 minutes to get some rest, we all know that it's important to be fully rested, guys. So I'm going to say no. Number 4 on our list is the Cluster Petting Zoo. It's going to be on the southwest side there over by the Arby's there off the freeway. Now, Cluster, I kind of like the people at Cluster because the reason being, well, first of all, my brother-in-law used to own that place. Of course, he had it under a different name. He had it under the name Super Petting Zoo, which just seemed... people didn't even think that's what there was. Involved animals. That involved like drive-in movies for some reason. But nonetheless, now it's called Cluster. Now part of the reason is they own the Cluster Cafe, which is right next door, and in that cafe they sell cluster bars, which are kind of like granola bars, but they're round, so it's like a cluster shape. but that has the same healthy ingredients. All right, well, so that all fits, but then it went a little sideways, guys, when they started hanging the cluster bars from the necks of the animals. And the idea was that if the animal or one of the visitors, one of the tourists, one of the customers got hungry, they could just take a bite right out of that cluster bar. They didn't even have to buy it. They already paid for their petting zoo experience. It's all free at that point. Well, what happened is the animals thought that they didn't inform the animals that the people might be biting their cluster bars, their healthy clusters. And so you started seeing animals attacking people, and it didn't matter how big. It could be a tiny little pig. He'd go crazy. He's like, get away from my cluster, my healthy cluster. That's for me. And these little pigs were jumping on people's heads and oinking away, and the people would run scared, especially little kids. They'd run scared with the pigs on their head, and it was a scene, guys. So I'm gonna say it was a scene. I'm telling you. I'm going to say avoid that one. And finally, the last one on our list is Dashboard Petting Zoo. Now, these guys are right downtown. They're right outside the main square there, and it's a seasonal deal. So it's for the spring and the fall. It's not really for the middle of summer. It gets too hot, and it's not really for the cold winter months either. But nonetheless. So Dashboard has the title or the brand name because Mr. and Mrs. Dashboard started it a long time ago, guys, in the 1940s. It's been around for a very long time. They've since backed up to a seasonal offering. And the problem is that they have a dashboard that tells them what animal to bring out that day. So it's almost like they spin a wheel on this dashboard, and then it allocates X number of animals based on the spin of the wheel. So, for example, it'll have multiple, it's not just one animal, it'll have multiple animals. So they spin the wheel, and it says 3 geese, 2 goats, and 1 giraffe, right? And then the doors open, and those particular animals come out depending on the spin of the wheel. Well, it's a good concept because it gives a lot of variety to the experience. The problem is some of the younger generation were trying to be funny. They were swapping out, like let's say it said giraffe. Well, they'd put a pit bull in there, guys. Or let's say it said, cuddly bear. They'd put in a grizzly. And what was happening is, it wasn't affect the customers. For some reason, it didn't affect the customers, but some of the local high school kids that worked there, they were getting mauled, guys. They were getting mauled. And, one guy lost his pants. A grizzly bear took a swipe at the guy, and his pants came right off. And he ended up suing the place, and, they settled for like 45, $50 or something like that. But come on. So I'm going to say no to those guys. Now, listen. Those are 5 of the worst petting zoos in Louisville, Kentucky. If you know of any I haven't covered here and you want on the list, leave a comment. I'll consider it. And also, if you know a good one that we should go to, leave that too. Because, guys, when you help out, you're helping lift the whole community as we work together to make Louisville the best city on the face of the earth. I hope that helps.